Once upon a time, in a small village at the foot of a great mountain, there lived a man named Marcus. Marcus was not the richest man in the village, nor the strongest, but he was known for something far more valuable: his unshakable peace of mind. No matter what life threw at him, Marcus remained calm, content, and even joyful. The villagers often wondered how he did it. They saw the same hardships hit him: failed crops, illness, even the loss of loved ones, but Marcus never seemed to break. One day, a young man named Lucius, tired of his own struggles and constant unhappiness, decided to seek Marcus out and ask him for his secret. Lucius found Marcus sitting under an old olive tree, sharpening a simple wooden tool. "Marcus," Lucius began, "I have watched you for years, and I do not understand. Life has not been kind to you, yet you smile more than any man in this village. What is your secret? How can you be so happy when the world is so full of pain?" Marcus set down his tool and looked at Lucius with kind eyes. "The secret," he said, "is not in what happens to you, but in how you choose to see it." Lucius frowned. "That makes no sense. If a storm destroys my home, how can I choose to see it as anything but a disaster?" Marcus nodded. "A storm is just a storm. It is neither good nor bad. It is your judgment that makes it so. The Stoics, the ancient philosophers who taught me this way of thinking, believed that happiness comes from within, not from the world outside. You cannot control storm." Lucius sat down beside him, still confused. "But how? How can I control my feelings when bad things happen?" Marcus picked up a small stone and held it in his palm. "Imagine this stone as a thought. You can hold it lightly, or you can grip it so tightly that it hurts. Suffering comes from holding too tightly, from believing that things must be a certain way for you to be happy. The Stoics teach us to loosen our grip. Accept what you cannot change. Focus only on what is in your power, your own actions, your own mind." Lucius thought about this. "So you are saying that if my home is destroyed, I should just accept it and move on?" "Not just accept it," Marcus corrected. "Ask yourself, what can I do now? Can I rebuild? Can I help others who suffered the same? If you focus on what you can control, you will never feel helpless. And if you stop fighting against what you cannot change, you will find peace." Over the next few weeks, Lucius returned to Marcus every day, eager to learn more. Marcus shared with him the teachings of the great Stoic philosophers, Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius. He taught him that happiness is not the absence of pain, but the ability to endure it with wisdom. He taught him that true freedom comes from mastering desires, not fulfilling them. And most importantly, he taught him that every obstacle is an opportunity to practice virtue, patience, courage, and resilience. One evening, as the sun set behind the mountains, Lucius asked, "Marcus, if I follow these teachings, will I ever feel sadness or anger again?" Marcus chuckled. "Of course you will. Stoicism does not turn you into a stone. It teaches you to feel without being ruled by those feelings. Sadness is natural when you lose someone you love. Anger is natural when you are wronged. But you must not let these emotions control you. Observe them, learn from them, and then let them pass like clouds in the sky." Lucius took these lessons to heart. He began to practice Stoicism in his daily life. When his crops failed, he focused on finding new ways to plant rather than cursing the weather. When a friend betrayed him, he chose to forgive rather than seek revenge. Slowly, he noticed a change, not in the world around him, but within himself. He felt lighter, stronger, and more at peace. Years passed, and Lucius became known in the village for his wisdom, much like Marcus. One day, another young man approached him with the same question Lucius had once asked: "What is the secret to your happiness?" Lucius smiled and pointed to the old olive tree where Marcus had once sat. "Come," he said, "let me tell you about a philosophy that changed my life." And so the teachings of the Stoics lived on, passed from one generation to the next. The villagers learned that happiness was not something to be found in wealth, fame, or perfect circumstances. It was a way of thinking, a way of living, one that required discipline, acceptance, and an unshakable focus on what truly mattered. The Stoic secret to happiness was simple, yet profound. You do not control the world, but you always control your mind. And in that control, there is freedom. In that freedom, there is peace. And in that peace, there is happiness, no matter what storms may come. The story of Marcus and Lucius spread far beyond the village, reminding all who heard it that true strength comes from within, and that the key to a joyful life lies not in changing the world, but in mastering oneself. And so, even today, the wisdom of the Stoics continues to guide those who seek happiness, not in the chaos of the outside world, but in the quiet strength of their own minds.